Meet Thiago, the baby Coati. For this youngster, growing up wild is one giant adventure. To survive in the suburbs, Thiago must learn the law of the jungle and the rules of the road. In his first year, he'll find out who and what to avoid. His mum will be there to teach him. But eventually, Thiago must face life's biggest obstacles without her. All across South America, baby animals are taking their first steps and tackling their first challenges. Their generations are the future of their species. They are the new kids in the wild. Morning in the dense forests surrounding the Brazilian city of Campo Grande. The trees are home to a highly adaptable animal family who've learned to take advantage of both these wild forests and the urban jungle. It may be rush hour in the city, but in their wild oasis, these curious creatures are only just waking up. This is Coco. She's a Coati mum and has lived here for the last 4 years. She's part of a big family, a band of more than 20. And recently, it got a lot bigger. Coco's 6 new babies, known as kittens, are excited. They have spent their first 4 weeks safe in their nest. But today, they're exploring the branches for the very first time. Already heading off on his own is Thiago. He moves with confidence, unfazed by the drop below. But his climbing skills still need work. Mum steps in, demonstrating a part of the Coati's unique anatomy that makes them so agile. Unlike monkeys, they don't have gripping tails or hands. Instead, their double-jointed ankles rotate 180 degrees, allowing for an effortless descent, head first. It's not easy, but Thiago dives straight in. His 5 brothers aren't so confident. Thiago appears to be the bravest of this bunch. Coco and Thiago demonstrate the technique again. One by one, the others pluck up the courage. They've learnt the very first lesson of Coati school, vital for moving around their home. This isn't just any forest. It's right next to the huge city of Campo Grande. Situated in Brazil's Mato Grosso do Sul district, the Coati's home is unique as they aren't the only ones living there. Over 900,000 people live in the city. And it's alive with human activity. The forest is like a green belt wrapping around the city. It's home to dozens of thriving Coati families. A few days later, Thiago is ready for an even more important lesson on the Coati curriculum. Where to find food in the forest. Using his rapidly developing climbing skills, an enthusiastic Thiago is at the front of the pack. Coco leads them down to the forest floor to go further than they have ever been before. It's a strange new world. But Thiago is undaunted. He has poor eyesight, but makes up for it with his most impressive body part. Coati's noses can rotate 60 degrees, helping search for hidden treasures in the undergrowth. If he picks up a scent, his sharp claws and long snout are perfect for unearthing potential prey. Letting his nose guide the way, hungry Thiago is getting stuck in. He's on to something good. Rotten wood full of insects and grubs. Not bad for his first day foraging. The others too are digging in. Distracted by eating, the youngsters are vulnerable. But they have a natural instinct to help keep them safe. Tails high in the air whilst eating helps Coco keep an eye on them in the tall vegetation. And it's not just their own mum. Coco and the other females all take care of each other's young, allowing the little kittens to explore, play, and most importantly, eat in safety. Spoiling the youngsters means Thiago and all this year's kittens will grow fast and become useful members of the band as soon as possible. Thiago's thirst for adventure is gradually rubbing off on his brothers. But in such dense undergrowth, keeping track of 6 lively Coati kittens requires Coco's full attention. Even with their trademark tails. To keep them in check, Coco uses a tried and tested system of expert communication. As the youngsters roam, Coco and the adults chat constantly, keeping tabs on the little ones. And with Thiago leading the gang astray, the chattering is non-stop. Coco needs her family's full attention, as she's taking them somewhere very special. Thiago's forest domain borders an urban jungle on the other side of the tracks. A city like Campo Grande brings many benefits. Like a plentiful supply of food all year round. But Coco also needs to teach Thiago the dangers of the streets. One of his older cousins was recently clipped by a car and still has the limp to prove it. Despite the risks, Thiago and the kittens must learn the rules of this foreign land. Today is as good a day as any to start. The adults lead, but the kittens hold back. Thiago cautiously follows and takes his first look outside the forest. It's all a bit too daunting, even for Thiago. But a few minutes later, he's back. This time, he brings his siblings. Out in the open, it's easier for the adults to keep track of the kittens. And the little ones immediately reap some rewards. This grassy verge has lots of worms and roots to chew on. But it all feels exposed. Even Thiago isn't quite as confident outside of the sheltering forest. The kittens all stick to Coco like glue, as the whole band make their way slowly towards the road that marks the edge of the city. Thiago's not quite ready to brave the highway. But the day's urban foraging mission isn't over. The band are now heading to a nearby suburb on this side of the road. Campo Grande is huge. Coco has the whole area mapped out in her head. And she knows exactly where she's taking them next. She's brought them here to experience Campo Grande's most sought-after delicacy. Mangoes. The juicy fruit is packed with sugar. With mangoes everywhere, Thiago doesn't know where to start. When eating, usually the kittens get first seat at the table. But with a feast like this, normal etiquette goes out of the window. And they can all eat at the same time. When a cheeky Thiago tries to steal Coco's dessert, she doesn't mind letting him have a small taste. But then reminds him there is so much to go around. He can get his own. And they aren't the only ones cashing in on the prize fruit. The world's largest rodents have also come into town for dinner. The Coatis foraging in the trees are serving up even more fresh mangoes for these capybara below. They also have hungry babies in tow, learning when and where to find the secret culinary treasures of Campo Grande. On today's outing, Thiago and his brothers have already learned some valuable foraging lessons, both in the forest and here in the city. Everyone is fueled up and ready to go. Coco decides it's time for another test for the youngsters. A shortcut home, which will mean their first road crossing. Collisions with cars are one of the biggest killers of Coati. Fortunately, Coco has picked a relatively quiet suburban road. A good place to learn traffic safety. Some adults are downright blasé about it. Stopping to pick up roadside mangoes is playing with fire. The adults have crossed much busier roads than this. Thiago, on the other hand, has never seen a car until today. Traffic can come from either direction, so they need to cross quickly. But an extra juicy mango is dangerously distracting. This is no time for a picnic. Coco sounds the alert. Road crossing lesson 1 complete. and then it's on to the next of today's major obstacles. They've made this trip hundreds of times. One lucky Coati even finds a hole big enough for him and his mango. But further along the fence, Thiago doesn't have it so easy. Conquering this man-made mountain will require some thought. Each kitten tries its own approach. Overhanging branches help this acrobat. Some attempt to squeeze through. Others take on the climb, now using their double-jointed ankles to good effect. Thiago isn't quite sure which route to take. He starts to climb, but then thinks he's found a shortcut. Why go over when you can simply go through? But he's misjudged the size of the hole. Push or pull, he is well and truly stuck. Coco watches on. Her teeth aren't strong enough to chew through metal. "20 minutes later, and he hasn't budged. He's becoming exhausted, and sundown is fast approaching. Exposed to the elements, he'd be lucky to survive the night. And Thiago's situation only gets worse. A hungry tegu is patrolling for roadside scraps. The lizard couldn't normally catch a Coati, but a stuck Thiago is an easy target. Thiago manages to summon one last frantic burst of energy. Finally, he's free. One very lucky Coati. Safely back with Coco, Thiago's tail is not quite as high as it was this morning. The reunited family start to head home. When suddenly, the rainforest delivers one of its trademark downpours. Time to make a dash for the shelter of the forest. But some need a helping hand, or rather, a mouth. As the shower starts to evolve into a storm, the band makes it to their forest home. The canopy shields them from the rain. But Thiago is already thoroughly soaked. He's struggling to get any grip on the really slippery branches. After all the drama in the city, Thiago's day still isn't over. While the rest of his siblings have already managed to reach the top of the tree, he's getting nowhere. Eventually, Mum comes to Thiago's rescue. And he's up. Today has been a bit of a wake-up call for the usually capable and confident Thiago. But now, time to relax. Even if he is soaked through. The rain has set in, and all of Campo Grande's wild residents are in for a wet night. Some are more happy about this than others. It takes days for the rain to pass. Though there are benefits to the wet weather. The family now have plenty of fresh pools to quench their morning thirst. After a quick drink, Coco rallies her kittens. After holing up in the forest waiting out the rain, she's eager to take them back into town. Despite his close call last time, Thiago seems ready for this mission, which will take him even further into the urban jungle. But he's making sure to stick close to Mum. Coco knows many prime feeding opportunities deep in the city. She leads the kittens on the safest path she can find through the network of roads. She's on high alert. But crossing roads is always risky. Cars kill more Coati in Campo Grande than anything else. Thiago and family make it safely into town, where the busy roadsides offer a bounty of human leftovers. The expansion of Campo Grande and the associated trash has made it all too convenient for the Coatis to develop a taste for these easy pickings. Each time Coco moves them on, there are more roads to cross. But the promise of even tastier snacks is impossible to resist. The city's residents are used to seeing their wild neighbors that now emerge from the forests on the hunt for food. As they move through the streets, Thiago's full of energy, his former confidence now fully restored. He's doing his best to keep pace with Coco, despite his tiny legs. But his mum's next target lies on the other side of the city's busiest road. The highway. A direct crossing would mean certain death. But clever Coco knows a safer route. The underpass. It's another life lesson for Thiago as he gradually picks up the rules of the road from his resourceful mum. And the rewards are worth it. Stocked up with the morning's litter pickings, the adults are ready for a quick nap among the trees on this tiny wooded traffic island. Despite being surrounded by busy roads, this grassy patch creates a haven of safety while they rest. But there's not much peace to be had with Thiago and the gang around. Taking advantage of Campo Grande's urban environment is crucial for Thiago's development. Learning these secrets of the city will be vital when Thiago doesn't have his mum to lead the way. As they move on yet again, Thiago is constantly taking in his surroundings, making his own mental map of the city. And this suburban neighborhood looks familiar to him. It seems Coco has brought them in a wide loop and they are heading for home. But they'll be eating as they go. Thiago is quickly learning that food is his main pastime. Coco has a sweet tooth, so she is on the lookout for some dessert. Fallen berries from street-side trees are washed down nicely with fresh water. Although the humans around here tolerate wildlife, people often come hand in hand with one of the Coati's most dangerous foes. Dogs enjoy chasing anything small and furry and are a lethal threat, even to a full-size Coati like Coco. The band can easily avoid the dogs behind fences. But Campo Grande's street dogs are another story. And this one has picked up their scent. Panicked, most of the band dive under the fence and make for the treetops. But Coco, Thiago, and his smallest brother have been left behind. They had wandered off looking for the mangoes, and they are caught on the wrong side of the fence. Alone and out in the open, they are easy targets. Desperate to reunite with the band, Coco calls out loudly. The dog is moving closer. She needs to get to the other side of the fence, quickly. But Thiago and his brother are frightened by the nearby barking, so need encouragement. With the dog getting too close, there is no time to make it to the rest of her family on the other side of the fence. Quick-thinking Coco takes her sons up a nearby tree. Just in the nick of time. Another near miss for Thiago. They can now relax. The dog can't reach them up here, and he soon gets bored. There are over 5,000 other Coatis in Campo Grande for him to terrorize. Finally, with the dog gone, Coco takes Thiago and his brother back under the fence to be reunited with his siblings. Thiago has been further initiated into the dangers of city life. Despite his misadventures, so far he's enjoyed life as a spoilt baby Coati. Getting first dibs at dinner time and 24-hour attention from Coco and the other members of the band. But this way of life won't go on forever for Thiago. Over the next year, he will learn all he can from his mother Coco to prepare himself to go it alone. Now, over a year old, baby Thiago has grown rapidly into a healthy, juvenile Coati. Always adventurous, nowadays his self-confidence serves him well, as increasingly he spends time alone. But he's thriving, thanks to all the lessons he learned from Coco in his first 12 months. Thiago and his brothers definitely aren't the babies of this band anymore. A whole new batch of kittens arrived on the scene last month. Younger cousins mean Thiago's life is about to change even more drastically. Just like when he was a baby, all the adults are fully focused on the new kittens. Thiago tags along on the daily hunts beyond the fence for food, but no longer gets to eat first. In just the last few weeks, he's gone from top of the social ladder to the bottom. Not quite fully grown, Thiago still tries his luck, sneaking up on his mum and aunt, trying to take their food. But gets a sharp telling off. The adults won't tolerate his presence for much longer. Over the next few days, Thiago is slowly getting the message, and now exclusively dines alone. But he's become a skilled food finder. Today, he's found a jambalan tree with plenty of berries. Thiago has more than doubled in size since he was born, so he's not as light on his feet. It's a fine balancing act to get to the best berries. He's clearly learned how and where to find a variety of food. That will be an asset in his next phase as an adult Coati. He's outgrown his own band. And is now being treated almost like an intruder by the adults, even his own mum. The rejection is harsh, but it's the reality of Coati's society. Thiago's mum and the other females are the core of the group. They only have one male as a full-time member. While Thiago's sisters get to stay in the family, he and his brothers must all find their own path. But they aren't ready to go it alone. Thiago's always been a strong leader, and with his ability to track down food, the exiled teenagers decide to stick with him and form a bachelor group. Now bigger, they use their combined size to become a formidable force in Campo Grande. Away from the kittens, they are free to explore and get the first pick of whatever they find. It's the start of an exciting new adventure for Thiago. Where he leads, the others follow. Their inner city hunting ground provides all they need. Lots of places for a quick drink. And surprise treats around every corner. With Thiago leading the way, things are on the up. Literally. Rooftops make for handy shortcuts. It's a good way of avoiding traffic, people, and especially dogs. Now they are bigger, Thiago takes the gang to one of Campo Grande's most sought-after eateries. For Coati, anyway. Wheelie bins. They are packed with fresh trash, brimming with leftovers. Thiago gets stuck in, head first. When they were smaller, the Coati would have been unable to climb out of the massive bins. Now, it's no problem. And there's plenty for the bachelors to rifle through. And all the buildings have them. A new foraging ground for this new band of Coati. As Thiago carves his own path, rifling through trash will just be part of his life living alongside humans. For better or worse, Thiago will always make the most of any opportunity that arises. Even heading in for a tourist photo in return for a tasty snack. It's not the usual way for Coatis to find food, but it has become part of their survival here in Campo Grande. He's adapting well to bachelor life. And he can stay out in the city for as long as he likes. He may no longer have the comfort of his mum Coco, but he has his brothers for now. Thiago was born in the wild, but like all the Coati near Campo Grande, he must continue to find a balance between his wild and urban homes. This is the only way Coati can continue to thrive as the city expands. Thanks to the skills he's learned, he's ready. It's been an eventful first year for Thiago. Since he left the safety of his nest, he's had to learn on the job. Conquering his wild and city homes has been a baptism of fire. But every lesson learned, even if it was the hard way, will stand him in good stead. He knows how to provide for himself and what to avoid in Campo Grande. A fine leader, Thiago still has his band of brothers. But when he reaches sexual maturity, he'll strike out alone. When the time is right, he'll mate and ensure there will be plenty more little Thiagos on the streets of Campo Grande for years to come. Meet Rio, the baby giant river otter. For this youngster, growing up wild is one giant adventure. To To survive in Brazil's famous Pantanal wetland, he must learn the rules of the river, how to hunt underwater, and avoid the jaws of the river's many predators. Rio's parents provide for him, but when he goes it alone, will he sink or swim? All across South America, baby animals are taking their first steps and tackling their first challenges. Their generations are the future of their species. They are the new kids in the wild. Dawn in South America. Enjoying an early morning swim, this is Orla. And her partner for life, Oscar. Two giant river otters living in a remote corner of Brazil's Pantanal. As few as 4,000 giant river otters remain in this sprawling network of rivers and wetlands. The banks of the Vermelho River is where Orla and Oscar have made their home. They make a formidable team. Their close bond is what makes them so successful. They protect each other from predators, hunt more effectively, and it also makes them better parents. Last year, Orla and Oscar adopted a son, Rocky, a teenage otter whose own parents were killed by a caiman. Almost fully grown, he's already a key member of the family. Rocky follows the pair everywhere. On land and in the water. The three otters are fiercely protective of one another. They are also extremely loud. For Orla and Oscar, having this extra adult on their team will come in handy. Rocky is no longer an only child. This year, their family has grown. A new son, Rio. For the last 2 months, the pup was safely hidden in the den, feeding greedily on Orla's milk. But today, Rio has emerged for the very first time. There's lots to see, but no time to take it in. Orla wants Rio to learn to swim immediately. It's a skill he'll need to escape predators, like jaguars that stalk the banks. The water looks scary, but But Rio won't be going in alone. Orla had 4 babies. 2 boys, 2 girls. One by one, they take the plunge. They all stay close to shore. For Rio, just keeping his head above water is hard enough. The other pups cling to the bank, while Rio keeps trying to stay afloat. He hasn't quite got the hang of treading water. It's hard work. But this morning's swimming lesson isn't over yet. Oscar wants Rio to learn to hold his breath. And there's only one way to learn. His dad may be a tough teacher. But throwing Rio in at the deep end appears to be working. That's better. Swimming just takes a little more confidence. His furious dog paddle keeps him afloat. But this technique will quickly sap his strength. He hasn't yet learnt to use his secret weapon, his amazing tail. When he's a bit stronger, it will help power him through the water, just like his parents. Inspired by Rio, his siblings join in. And today's first swimming lesson ends in success. Exhausted, the pups have earned a long rest. Back into the den to dry off. The next morning. Another hot day in the Pantanal's dry season. At this time of year, the riverbanks become a focus for all the wetland creatures. Including predators. Now that Rio and his siblings are big enough to leave the den, it's time to move house. Their parents have already built a number of halts up and down the river. From now on, the family will move regularly to stay one step ahead of the big cats that stalk the banks. Orla and Oscar chatter constantly to let the pups know where to go. As they round a bend, the giant otters come across another big family in the grass. Capybara, the world's largest rodents. But as strict vegetarians, they don't pose any real threat to Rio. This family is also teaching its babies to swim. After their trek through the forest, the pups are eager to cool off. They join the capybara in the river. Despite the watchful eyes nearby. A Yakari caiman. One of the Pantanal's biggest predators. Drawn here by the young capybara splashing nearby. But Rio could also be a target. With Orla and Oscar on lifeguard duty, Big Brother Rocky acts as lookout. If it were to slip into the water, this ambush hunter would be almost invisible. So Rocky needs to keep it in his sights. The adults could easily outmaneuver the caiman in the river. But Rio, only just able to swim, wouldn't stand a chance. Today, the caiman isn't hungry. Content soaking up the sun. The otters continue their journey to the new den and work up an appetite of their own. As soon as they arrive, Rio and the pups head towards the bank to play. While the adults display their hunting skills. Rio has already developed his taste for fish. Luckily, his mum and dad are some of the most prolific aquatic hunters on the planet. Their sensitive whiskers pick up the movement of fish hidden in the murk. Working in unison, Orla and Oscar's webbed feet and flat tails provide incredible acceleration. Rocky joins in. The three hunters drive the fish into the shallows, trapping them against the bank. It looks effortless. It will be a long time until Rio masters these skills. But Orla's happy to share her catch. It's a family feast. And Rio's appetite is finally satisfied. For now. As everybody tucks in, Orla hears an alarm call from the other side of a nearby creek. She heads into the water to investigate, then calls for backup. Oscar arrives and they approach. Patrolling the waterline is a jaguar. The most powerful of all the big cats. Rio and the pups keep their distance from the female hunter. But Rocky joins the adults. With strength in numbers, the otters aren't backing down. Oscar presses forward. He wants to drive the jaguar away from his pups. The cat appears to relax. Oscar's no fool and remains just out of striking distance. He keeps the jaguar in his sights. But its partner was the real danger. Jaguars normally hunt alone, but right now it's the mating season, and this breeding pair are working together. Oscar's agility in the water saved his life. With the jaguars so close to this den site, Rio's family decide to keep moving. Orla and Oscar are prepared. They have several more dens to choose from along the river. But the nearest one is another kilometer upstream. This will be Rio's longest swim by far. The pup stays close to Mum as they set off. There are fewer predators in the deeper part of the channel. But the currents are strong for Rio's little legs. As always, Rocky acts as lookout as they make their way upriver. Orla and Oscar help their two daughters. They're smaller and the weakest swimmers. But it's a marathon for Rio. The young pup begins to struggle. He gets a short respite with Mum. But there are only 2 parents and 4 pups. Rio's ride doesn't last long, and he's back to swimming by himself. Keeping up is almost impossible. With Rio falling behind, Orla leads the group back towards the river's edge, where the water is calmer. But these shallows are the caiman's hunting ground. The pups are exposed. Big Brother Rocky moves in and guides Rio away from danger. Rocky's swift action gives Orla the chance to move the pups to the safety of the other bank. They continue along the shoreline. But Orla and Rio walk straight into a juvenile caiman. That was close. After the toughest journey of their lives, the pups finally reach their new home. They can't wait to get inside and explore. But Rocky has some important housekeeping to do. Scent marking outside the den. The adults must always protect the pups from predators. But this scent marking is to warn off other otters. Rocky gets the word out. Loud and clear. Rubbing his scent into the sand makes it last longer. It's messy work. Rio comes out to see what's going on and walks straight into Rocky's scent pool. As if being covered in stink weren't enough, he gets caught in the firing line once again. This time, it's Orla, clearing sand from the den. Rio is one messy pup. He stays in to wash out the scent and sand. Orla swims over to help him clean up. Like all kids, Rio's not a fan of having his hair washed. Oscar and Rocky join in as well. Rio's fur is getting a deep clean. The job's not quite finished. But an impatient Rio has had enough. Exploring this new territory with his siblings is much more fun. But after today's adventures, he doesn't stray too far from the grown-ups. And that gives Orla the chance to finish the job. Five weeks later, Rio's been growing fast. He's more than doubled in size. But it's been a hard road for the family. They've had to flee to a new den site yet again. And they've lost one of the pups. Rio's smallest sister was killed by a caiman. Many giant otter families are up to 20 strong. Rio's is now just 6. With fewer eyes to look for danger, they'll need to work even harder to protect each other. At 3.5 months old, Rio is more agile than when he first left the den, but still relies on his parents for food and protection. And today marks the start of a new challenge. The wet season has arrived. It's the first time the pups have seen rain. But this is only a taste of what's to come. The morning after the downpour, Rio emerges to a changed world. The river is already starting to swell. The current's stronger than the pup has ever felt. But Rio's been practicing every day, mimicking his parents' movements. His tail now powers him through the water, not just his legs. All this swimming is hungry work. Orla and Oscar are already out searching for breakfast. Today, Rio wants to join in. Catching his first fish will be the biggest moment in this otter pup's life. But after a few attempts, he isn't fast enough to trap his prey. Frustrating, especially on an empty stomach. He needs to watch and learn. But Rio is hungry. It might be quicker for someone else to catch one. But even the grown-ups aren't having much luck. Finally, Rio spots Orla with a fish. This is his chance. Surely Mum will share. But she's not playing ball. Rio is older now, and Orla wants him to start practicing hunting on his own. But he's determined to seize the fish right in front of him. Whimpering and begging isn't working. He isn't giving up. Edging closer and closer to his mum. Rio gets a nibble. And Mum finally gives in. But Rio can't relax. Now his brother and sister want to steal his hard-won fish. His sister is persistent and sneaky. But Rio is quicker. Finally, he gets to enjoy his meal. Over the coming months, these parental handouts will stop altogether. And his mum will force Rio to catch all his fish on his own. No matter how hard he begs. Breakfast over, Orla leads the family towards her current favourite rest spot. It's usually caiman-free, and in the warmth of the rising sun, there's space to stretch out and unwind. But Rio is feeling fidgety. He takes his brother off to explore. The expedition quickly turns into a wrestling match. Having already learned not to stray too far, Rio leads them back to the beach. Their noisy return wakes up the whole family. Oscar is in no mood to play. He's got an important job to do instead. At each den site, the adults must clearly mark the edge of their new territory. Oscar uses his own signature move, swinging his hips to clear space, and then scent marking high up on the riverbank. Rio's curious. He decides to have a go himself. So far, so good. But he forgets to rub it into the sand. Luckily, Dad Oscar is there to finish the job. As the day heats up, Rio finally settles down for a nap. By midday, Orla's fully rested and decides it's time to head back to the den. She announces their departure. The others follow. All but one. Exhausted from his adventures, Rio sleeps in. The family continues the long swim back home. 5 minutes pass by before Rio eventually wakes up. His family are nowhere to be seen. He calls out. No reply. It's the first time Rio's ever been on his own. Without his family to protect him, the pup's extremely vulnerable. He needs to act fast. Heading upriver alone is his only option, but will be putting his life on the line. Around the bend, Orla realizes her pup is missing. She raises the alarm and turns around. Rio makes as much noise as he can, hoping his parents will hear him But he's already been spotted. Unaware, Rio is swimming towards danger in the shallows. A 2-meter caiman senses the opportunity and breaks cover. Orla returns. Just in time as the caiman closes in. She's not going to lose another pup. Rio takes his chance and escapes. Orla is now the one in danger. Rio's out of harm's way, but there's no sign of his mum. Just the caiman. Finally, she appears. Her speed and agility gave her the victory. The caiman retreats downstream to find an easier meal. Orla finally reunites with her pup. She came out unscathed. But while Rio is safely back with his family, the scars of this adventure will be more than just mental. The caiman left its mark on the pup's leg. The wound will take some time to heal, and it's a day Rio won't forget in a hurry. Another lucky escape. Few otter pups left alone on this river would have lived to tell the tale. Two months later, and Rio is no longer a baby, struggling to keep his head above water. He's an accomplished swimmer, and his leg is fully healed. Life is looking up. But there's still one goal that he's yet to reach: to catch his own fish. And today, if he wants to eat, Rio will have to step up to the plate. They head out to hunt for breakfast. But today, it's catch your own. The adults have decided now is the time for tough love. Rio's usual begging tactics aren't working on any of the adults. It's every otter for itself. Rio's watched his parents hunt hundreds of times before. But can he put all he's learned into practice? Orla follows at a distance as the three pups start looking for fish, with no help from the adults. It takes speed and skill. But Rio isn't having any joy. Sometimes you just need to keep trying. Success. Rio proudly displays his prize. It wasn't begged for, nor given up by a grown-up. This is his very own fish. He heads off to find somewhere to enjoy it all on his own, away from his siblings, still trying for their first catch. It's Rio's biggest step towards adulthood. Over the next year, he'll continue practicing hunting on his own, becoming less reliant on the adults for food, until he achieves independence. In 6 months, Rio has grown in so many ways. Bigger, bolder. He's overcome life or death adventures, thanks to the care and courage of his family. The young otter is prepared for whatever the future holds on the Vermelho River. Whether he stays with his parents to help raise their future pups, or eventually leaves to start a family of his own, Rio will play a key part in the next generation of giant river otters.